Welcome to Core Concepts from Dent Gaming. Let's see this build. Alright guys, I have got another build for you today. This is the third installment in the Light Showed series. This is the Pyrotechnician. Pyrotechnician is here to burn things down and have you watching all his fireballs while he blows you up. That is his main goal. Of course, we had to go with the fiery pattern, because, got to keep it all like edgy and whatnot. But I digress. Let's break into this build. Can't have a pyrotechnician without the bad cook flamethrower. That is just it's just uncalled for. You need that flamethrower. Now the range on the flamethrower is actually a really interesting thing. It says it's pretty close range if I'm not mistaken. So let's go ahead and grab and go in here. Effective range is 200. A lot of people think this is a really close range weapon. It's not. 200 is pretty far out. That's actually mid-range. But it is most effective at the closer ranges. So that is a factor to consider because the puffs of flames don't stick together as well further out. It is effective up to 200. So definitely want to keep that in mind. Annie Hoosier. Yeah, his name's Pyrotechnician. We use the flamethrower. What's the flamethrower there for? Well, it's in the right arm, which is easier for me to push on the mouse, so I can just hold it down when I want to. It's a lot easier. Two, name of the AC is Pyrotechnician, and he likes fire, so I obviously have to have some kind of flamethrower on here. I almost went napalm, but it wasn't quite as effective. I really like to use this to blind my adversary. I think that's a lot of fun, and just really hard. It makes it a lot harder for them to track the movements if they've got giant fireball filling up their HUD. So that's one reason why I opted for this one over the napalm, which is just like 3 little puffs and then that lights the ground on fire. Anyway, moving on, other arm, I've got the Javelin Alpha. Hands down my favorite bazooka. I freaking love it. Decent reload time, absolutely devastating attack power, absolutely devastating impact, and on top of that, it is a 2-part explosion. I don't know if you guys saw that in that little replay there, but it goes boom and then boom. You see all those little sparky explosions afterwards? It makes sure it keeps your opponent in those. Hands down, my favorite bazooka is that one. Yeah, she's a little chubby, but in the recent patch, she actually lost weight, which makes it a little bit more accessible. Definitely want to check this bazooka out for your guys' builds. It's a lot of fun. On the back, we're running some Javelin Betas. Javelin Beta missiles. Why? Well, one is because the name of the AC is Pyrotechnician, and it leaves a little trail that ignites in a nice little fireball, and that's a lot of fun. Really good for taking out multiple targets, especially if they're lined up in a nice neat row like these ones are. However, it is also fun to flank ACs with this one. So not a lot of people pay attention to that. Also really good reload time for a missile, 3.6. I think that's actually the second best reload time for missiles, which is kind of nuts. The thing that really doesn't do it any favors is its actual homing lock time of 2.4. It's a little slow, and I wish the direct hit adjustment was just a little better at 165. I wish it was more like, I don't know, like 180, but it is better than most missiles, which are sitting at about 140, 145. So, I mean, it's not the worst, but it's not the best. The impact on it is great, and I have 2 of them, so technically my reload time is, it's about 1.8 seconds. So that is not half bad. I could just keep blasting them, and it's a lot of fun. A cumulative impact on this is really good, so it keeps them pretty hurt for a while. All right. So like I said, I got 2 of those. Main battle strategy, you fire the Javelin Betas, and they arc out in an oval, and that way, if your opponent charges straight at you, you light them up with the Bad Cook, and then when they're staggered, you pop them with the Javelin Alpha. And if they decide to flank in either direction, you kind of blind them with the Bad Cook and you just keep working at them until their impact is, until they're devastated and standing still, and then you pop them with the bazooka. Or let's go back here. Let's go to the Bad Cook real quick. Let me go ahead and grab this guy. The direct hit adjustment on this isn't that good. However, its rapid fire, air quotes rapid fire, is 8.4, which is kind of like a machine gun rapid fire. And at 85, that means it's a very potent machine gun. So not half bad to punish with the flamethrower. So I just want to throw that out there. If you do need a secondary punish, your flamethrower is there and it is available and it is effective. Moving on to the frame, I'm running the Mind Beta head. Surprise, surprise, my favorite head in the game. Yeah, sure, she's a little wussy when it comes to system recovery, and her AP's not that great, and the defenses aren't that great, but my word, that stability. Oh boy, that stability. Stability is so good. Like I've said in previous videos, stability to EN load is probably the best, if not one of the best in the game. It's nuts. Anyway, so that's why you run the Mind Beta. Noctra Higher Core. Why am I running the Noctra Higher Core? Very, very good question. Very lightweight core. An okay EN load when it comes to cores, but what I'm really after for this thing is, one, its balanced defenses, which are pretty good for a lightweight. This one's actually upper mid-range, which is kind of nuts in my opinion. Stability, not that great, but this booster efficiency adjust is, oh my gosh, chef's kiss. 126. I barely burn EN on this thing, and I'm pretty sure this thing's running Alula's. I haven't got down that far, but off memory, I think this is running Alula's, and if you can pop Alula over and over and over again, that is golden, my friend. So that is why I really like this. Also, the supply just ain't bad, so that means my recharge delay is nice and low. Okay, that pretty much sums it up for the core. Moving on to the arms. Noctra Higher Arms. Why? You're running a flamethrower. Yes, that's true, but my other arm is a bazooka. So I want that to hit when they are staggered. If it does miss, that is a huge missed opportunity for damage, because like I was saying earlier when we were talking about the Javelin Alpha, actually I don't know if I mentioned this, 220 direct hit adjustment. That is insane, ladies and gentlemen. That is a very, very good punish bazooka, so you want that to hit. That's why the Noctra Hires were the only pick for me when it came to this build. Moving on to the legs. Crawlers. Yeah, I think I've said this before. I don't really care about any of this. I mean, this is like lower mid-range defenses, crappy AP, whatever stability, it doesn't matter. Load limits, none of these stats are good. The main stat here is this one, and as you guys can tell, my EN supply efficiency, not that great. I mean, I kind of feel like these kind of counter each other. So, I mean, on average, it's about 2,900, maybe a little less, but it's as good as I could really get it. Anyway, that's why I chose those legs, just simply because of their EN factor. Moving on, it looks like I am running the Alulas. Why am I running the Alulas? Because these are a Merc's best friend. You have a great thrust. You have a decent upward thrust. Sure, the cost is a little high, but at least you can get there. At least you can do it. The QB thrust is where this thing really just shines. So, not only do you get the second highest QB thrust in the game out of these boosters, you get this amazing reload time of 0.35, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh, that is so fast. QB EN consumption isn't too bad. Like I said, my core really helps it out, so it goes from 690 all the way down to 510, which is freaking awesome, like I was saying. But yeah, that's as long as you stay below the IQB or the ideal weight of 62,400, which I did not do with this build. So my QB reload time goes from 0.35 to 0.42. Which some of you might be asking, well, does that really make them faster than the 06 speeds? The answer to that question is yes, because if I equip the 06 speeds, yes, my average speed is much higher, as you guys can tell, 8 kph, but my QB speed is absolutely devastated. On top of that, I still have that reload time of 0.5. So, on average, the Alulas are going to be faster than the 06 speeds in this particular situation. So make sure when you're doing your builds, you keep an eye on that and you make sure you fit the proper booster. I'm off my soapbox. I just want to iterate one last time. Alulas are a Merc's best friend. Definitely. Moving on. FCS. This is relatively new, and I put this on because of the new patch. I actually decided that upon review of this AC, originally it was equipped with the Talbot. And the Talbot really hurts my feelings when it comes to supply efficiency. I didn't think that the 3420 was going to really make up for this 2187, so I opted to move it into more of a mid-range, which is this one. 80 is an outstanding mid-range performance, not to mention the EN load, nice and low, and a nice lightweight to boot. So, Yes, that is why I opted for the G2/P05. Hokushi, another add-on. It used to be running this little guy, which as I claim, this is a nice little generator package, sure, but it did get a nerf with the last patch. I believe its recharge went down a little bit, so I opted to remove it and instead put the Hokushi on, and that gave me my recharge back since Hokushi actually got an EN recharge buff in the last patch. So it did slow me down a little bit, but my QB speed is still good thanks to the Alulas. Yeah, the extra weight between these two is insane because this little dude only weighs 20 units, whereas the Hokushi weighs 70, 80. So obviously it's going to be heavier and make me slower, but it was worth it for the EN. And the EN recharge delay is nice. It's at 80.86, which is wonderful. That's good. Under a second, good times. All right, so the Hokushi, that's why I did that. We move on to Pulse Armor. Basically fits combat strategy. I pretty much push with this. I rarely retreat unless I'm trying to get my stagger to go down. Building my stagger on this is pretty easy because it's a 17.1. It's also a little bit on the squishy side, pretty similarly with the AP squishy. So yeah, Pulse Armor just kind of makes sense. I can use it both offensively and defensively, so it kind of fits the battle strategy. But you can equip whatever you want and fit your fight style, of course. But I opted for Pulse Armor. All right, that is the build, guys. Let me show you guys what this thing can do. Come here, Freud.
Main system activating combat mode.
All right, Freud. Let's get toasty. Just try for a bazooka shot right out the gate. Got him. Ooh, oh, see what I mean? If those don't hit, it's devastating. He was even at mid-range, too. That is very upsetting. Ooh, got him. Get him. Yep. Got him with the after spark, I think. Woo! Not even close, big guy. Try again. This should get me a stagger. There it is. Oh, I didn't get my bazooka off. That's fine. I forgive myself. Pyrotechnician coming in hot. Alright guys, let me go ahead and get you that share ID. I actually have to upload this little guy, so here we go. Uploading now, just for you. Share ID going to be UFFGTYQS53NU. Please take this build, modify it, put it in the comments below what you did, what share ID is, let me play with it. I have had a lot of fun using this big giant robot to blow stuff up. Please like and subscribe, support the channel so I can keep bringing you this fun content, having a good time. Thank you, and goodbye.